I want to start with the preamble. So when talking about advanced services, there are preconditions that needs to be considered. When customer refocus, meaning they decide to focus on their core business, when manufacturers, they decide to invest in digital platform, in IoT, and in service-led solutions, when the market, the end users, demand more efficiency, demand sustainability, then this is when sectors, economies, and businesses would advance. Having said that, let's look at some definitions. So when we speak about advanced services, we have to do that in the context of the so-called servitization. And they are part of another two categories of services, the so-called intermediate and the foundation services. Together, as said, they are part of the transition towards servitization. But what is servitization? There are many definitions. Let's go to a simple one, which says that servitization is an integrated bundling of products and services where manufacturers offer capability and outcomes instead of just products. In essence, servitization is when manufacturers strategically decide to compete through services. Then, what is advanced services? We can describe advanced services by saying that they are characterized by one or more of these offers, meaning performance-based contracts, meaning uptime guarantees, or complete maintenance outsourcing, or equipment as a service, ultimately. But let's look at how we can position the different type of services if we had to put them in a ladder. So the most complicated one, as we saw already, is the advanced, meaning that customers are asking or expecting manufacturers to do it for them, taking over a complete or a portion of the customer operation or processes. You can have it also on a lower ladder, customers who want OEM to do it with them. Again, complete or a portion of a service or of a process. But you can also have the case where customer wants to do it themselves, and they expect the manufacturers to help them to do so. And of course, there is a basic level of services that normally comes together with the equipment, and they are considered almost as part of the physical asset, meaning warranty, installation, and spare parts. But now let's get into the real life, some concrete examples. I'm not going to talk about luxury cars. This is a notorious case from Rolls-Royce jet engines. And we've tried to do here, what we've tried to highlight what were the characteristics of the path that Rolls-Royce took towards advanced services. So why they did it? What was the environment that they had when they decided to do in the 90s? So customer priorities, I'm sure that you can find similar needs and priorities that we have in the port sector. So some of those are safety, equipment availability, efficient operation, fuel efficiency, What were the customer challenges? Well, they needed to be using efficiently the asset until to the point of selling it. And what were the risks? Of course, downtime, airplane grounded, and unexpected cost of any type. One extremely important element for the advanced services to happen is co-creation with the apologies, is the co-creation with the customer. If there is no possibility or intention to do that together with the customer, advanced services will never happen. So if we had to position the Rolls-Royce offering in our ladder that we showed before, you see on the top scale, there is their notorious total care, which basically translated into the pay per flying hours. So the entire risk of operation, maintaining and operating the airplane jets was on the manufacturer. And of course, down the ladder, you see different shades of services from Rolls-Royce in that case, until you get to the basic level. But what was the essential element or what allowed Rolls-Royce to get there? Well, inevitably, there was a big influence by the innovation. So all the innovative stuff that they brought to the business, to the aviation business in this case, they focused on making sure that they had the most advanced tools and systems when it comes to maintenance planning. They made sure that they had equipment monitoring, predictive services, remote support, asset management, and they had a portal where everything was available for their customers, transparency. And all of this allowed them to get to the notorious power by the hour. What impact did they make on the aviation industry? Quite big one. 92% of their customers said that the total care had helped them to improve their business. On top of that, they pushed the whole industry towards digitalization of the maintenance. Big investments. There is one sentence which was, I believe, quite visionary from a senior executive of Rolls-Royce. It contains important elements. As we heard before, there is no lack of data. There is plenty of them. The point is, how do we use this data? And especially, what is the essential component that the OEM can bring into this scenario? Well, using intelligent systems, meaning using data in a clever way, combined with the engineering knowledge they have. And this is the essential mix that the OEM should be focusing on. Let's look at another interesting case, rail industry. Let's talk about Alstom, one of the most popular train manufacturers. They had a very similar landscape. Customer priorities, safety, passengers, system availability. I think this resonates to most of you. What were the customer challenges? Well, there was an increasing demand. They needed to look at the customer experience and, of course, asset optimal management. Risks, service delay, downtime. Again, extremely important. Do it together with the customer. So develop these advanced services in conjunction with your customers. If you don't have that, it will never happen. Again, let's look at the ladder. Alstom did it in a similar way. They ended up being able to offer an integrated full system set of services where they took over the entire risk, not only of the asset maintenance and operation, but also the infrastructure. So they went well beyond the asset itself. And again, down the ladders with all the other services. Once again, innovation was the most essential part of all of this. Maintenance planning with the tools and softwares, equipment monitoring, predictive services, remote support, fleet management. Those were the ingredients of the Alstom innovation that allow them, for instance, to get to one of these innovative systems. This is a huge scanner that allows them to scan the consumables and identify whether it's needed to change or not. So, as an example of innovation in this case. What impact Alstom had in the rail industry? Well, it's in there. One of their biggest customers said they've been helping to reduce maintenance cost by 30% and improve the infrastructure lifetime up to 50%. So quite relevant. Let's look at another case. We are now considering trucks and buses. Traton is a conglomerate of brands, different brands belonging to Volkswagen. They did it in a similar way. Again, customer priorities, cost of ownership, on-time deliveries, and challenges, fuel consumption, emissions, optimal asset management, and of course, the risk, unplanned availability, emission regulations, and they did it with their key accounts together. And this is how the Traton offering looks like. They also went up to the point where they were maintaining and operating fleets of trucks, and they invested quite a lot in this Rio option. So they developed a platform, a logistic platform, helping their customers not only monitoring the fleet, getting information, but also sharing those information and helping the logistic chains. So they went again beyond the pure asset, providing digital services on the supply chain, on the logistics side as well. Here are some of their key innovations again: equipment monitoring, remote support, fleet management, asset management, maintenance app, and information portal. And I would say that the most relevant, it is this Rio open source platform, helping customers to manage their fleet and also improving the logistic chain. Impact on the transport sector. Well, in this case, the transition to electric vehicle has been pushing manufacturers to go towards vehicle available as a service. Same as pay per the hour fly. Now, if we go back to our ladder, let's now go into the comparison part. Where do you think, or where would you position Rolls-Royce example? I think they went up to the top of the ladder with their advanced services. Followed very closely by Alstom, who went also quite far down this road. Followed by the trucks example I also showed you. And where do you now position the port equipment? Well, let's put it here. Meaning that there are OEMs opportunities to go up this ladder. And beside investing in innovation, as we saw, the important factor that has to be there, beside finding customers to co-create these services and do it together, beside embracing this servitization journey, I think that OEM, they should ask themselves a fundamental question, or three actually fundamental questions that I would like to leave you with. First one is, are they ready to commit more than what they do today to support their customers to manage their equipment? And if the ambition is to go even further, are they ready to take responsibility for part or entire operation of their customers? And if the ambition goes even further, are the OEMs ready to take accountability for their customer processes and operation? So that's the fundamental question that the OEMs need to be able to answer themselves before they embark into this journey. But inevitably, whatever the OEMs would do, it's a customer choice. So the customers dictate the pace or the speed of the implementation of any advanced service. And now I'm going to ask a question to myself. Is Konecranes ready to embark in this journey? Yes, we are. Are you? Thank you.